if technology wants to be on our side today. Okay, turn on the closed captions. Welcome back, everybody. And if this is your first stream, welcome. My name is Roy Jr. I'm the co-founder of Chart Addicts. I'm a full-time day trader specializing in NAS100. These live streams are for you guys to follow along with my own trading. This is what I would be doing by myself, sitting here in front of my screen. So I figured that we would do these live streams and bring you guys along, show you how I trade, and let you see my decision making in real time. A lot of people won't show their decision making because there's a lot of stuff that goes into their strategy behind the scenes. For me, the strategy is very straightforward once you understand it. And I just want to show you that the hardest part of trading is not entering the trade. It's the waiting in between. It's finding the most precision entries. It's using a little bit of your intuition to figure out which trades are worth taking, which ones aren't. So two-step said, not the ADR. Yeah, I mean, look, I promised that I was going to keep the streams more professional, so I'm not going to sit here and cook people anymore. I'm not going to respond to the trolls. I'm not going to give them any energy. My dad came for my life. All right, my dad got on the last live stream. He's like, why are you responding to these trolls? Like, why are you even talking to? Why are you cursing so much? My dad apparently, like, somebody he was working with, he tried to show him the stream because they were trying to pick up some insight on economics. And I think I spent like 15 minutes lighting some kid up in the group chat or in the comment section. And my dad and his friend were just sitting there watching this thing. He just had this embarrassed, obviously, like I'd be embarrassed too. So I made him a promise I was going to keep things cordial and keep things more professional. Okay. Noah says, smash that like button. You guys know the drill. Noah, I appreciate you. Good morning. Vince, damn, good morning. Ankit, good morning. William Gonzalez. See, now we got it right. David Sanchez, my dad is on the stream today. Incredible. That's why I got to watch myself. Okay, how early do you come to the charts before market open? So I typically check the charts the night before and I find all my trade ideas. So I have not touched this since last night. And then I check the charts around 8 a.m. before I go to the gym, or around 7:30. I figure out what are the likely two scenarios. And then I go to the gym, come back, and then I hop on. When I hop on at the market open, I don't take a trade for the first 45 minutes of the market open. That's when everybody else is losing money. That's when people are guessing shorts, longs, and everything in between. And all I want to do is wait for market structure to form and then start taking trades. Okay, so we'll talk about market news. I'll break down some updates on what's happening in the Russia-Ukraine situation, what's happening with the Palestine-Israel conflict, and then I'll talk about some of the Federal Reserve data that's been coming out and whether or not we're going to be heading into a recession next year. The recession next year, I think, is top of mind for most economists. And I'll show you those two scenarios because what people don't realize is that economics is not a hard science. In a hard science, like gravity, for example, or like physics is as true as it can get. There's only ever one answer for something. Force equals mass times acceleration. If I drop this remote right now, it's only going to fall in one direction. There is a predictable action for every, or there's a predictable reaction to every action. In markets, it's not like that. You guys will see that economists are going to disagree a lot going into next year. The two camps are people that think that we're not going to head into a recession and people that think that there's no way that we're going to avoid a recession. I'm in the we can't avoid a recession camp. I'm very bullish on stocks. Let me go ahead and say this up front before I confuse anybody. I'm extremely bullish on stocks. I believe the stock market has a lot of opportunity to continue to the upside. And I think that right now, a lot of retail traders are starting to position themselves short because of how high the market is. Personally, you guys can see on the daily, I'm looking for shorts just to start off this week. Let me actually put this right here. I'm looking for sells to start off this week for this retracement. And then I want to start buying at the 14,850 zone. So what I'm expecting right now, and I will explain this on the daily time frame because it might just be easier, is that I'm waiting for price to push through the zone a little bit more up to the 200 level. And I want to start layering sell positions above the 886. So anywhere from 175 to 200 is a potential sell zone. And that's what I'll be looking for personally to start entering sells. To be honest, I want to start entering sells now. I can see a good scaling strategy here where I'll enter 5 lots. Here's my 10 lot zone right here. Then here's my 20 lot zone right here. Again, I'm using FTMO swing. And so the lot sizes are going to be a little bit higher. But if I wanted to throw 35 lots, I'm not going to do it right now. Instead, I will scale in, my first position being the smallest. So if I do go into drawdown, I'm not really tripping over that position. Instead, I can layer on these re-entries and make money on the way back down. So I'm going to wait for a bit more of a push, probably 20 more minutes. And then once I see this thing have pushed for the market open, I'll look for the pullback. I'll look to short this thing down. So right now is just a little bit of patience. I would start scaling, but on Mondays, I'm particularly more patient than I otherwise would be. I'm more selective with my trades because the market has not established any structure yet. All the orders from over the weekend that did not get reflected in the price are all being sent in. You see the Sunday price action is all those weekend orders getting put into market. And then today on Monday is everybody establishing their bias for the week. What typically happens on Mondays is you'll see the high and the low of the week get formed. And so I'm looking forward to the high of the week get formed during today's session. I explained this yesterday. Essentially, I'm looking for this thing to push, consolidate, push, and then drop. All right. So 15,175 to 15,200 prime time right here for sell entries. Okay, good morning. Good morning. Tony's on. Art, good to see you. For those of you guys that got on the that registered for the NAS100 Masterclass, the 4-day Masterclass, let me know in the comments section, how was the first session yesterday? Was it everything you thought it was going to be? Did it live up to the expectations that I've been promoting for the past, 30 days? Let me know. If you guys showed up to the first class yesterday, what did you think? Because I know everybody else is probably curious. If you did not get a chance to register for this masterclass, we have a wait list, I believe, or something. There's going to be a link for you guys to register for the December masterclass, but that's going to be in about 40 days. Those of you guys who got into this NAS bootcamp, I got a very special treat for you tonight. I'm going to be showing you my exact strategy from start to finish. William says, yeah, I entered at 179. Yeah, I'm really thinking about entering here because we've already had all of the smaller time frame confirmations. For me, I'm always looking at the pre-session consolidation here. And we can even include the London session here. And we just had a break above the zone. So typically, I look for sells above that consolidation, and I look for buys below that consolidation. So here's the previous low of the local structure. That's the previous support. Wait for a pullback, and then continuation. So we can take the sells down, and then the buys back up. But what I wanted to see for the shorts was a little bit more of a break up. I don't want to enter here and then have this thing start to push higher. So I guess that's where scaling comes in. Not I guess, but that's literally where scaling comes in. And I'll be patient for it because that 10:20 to 11 a.m., that 45-minute session that I normally trade, that's where I tend to see most of the opportunities that I'm personally looking for. So patience is going to go a long way here. That's it. Way too messy. I'm so tempted to get in. But I think that's why I'm being selective is whenever I have that emotional inclination to want to enter a trade like the shorts right now, typically that's when I know that there's a good reason for me to stay out. Whenever there's an emotionality of like this could be it, like this could be the one, or the market is moving, or all the confirmations are here, let me jump in, versus this kind of fluid or effortless execution. Those are the two things. Like when you're operating from that emotional state, you're probably going to make a mistake regardless of how good the trade idea is. But if you're in a good state of mind, then even if the trade idea is shit, you'll be able to find your way in and out and make some money. So right now I'm in that sort of, I want to get in. So that's the big reason for me to just wait a little bit more. And it's always better to miss a trade than to chase it. When you're trading emotionally, you're really trying to chase the market based on either a FOMO or some kind of other emotional thing that comes up. Yeah, I'm definitely excited to keep going. Good stuff, Autobahn. Is it free, the master class? That's ridiculous. I'm in gold buys from 1884. Good stuff. Art said, it's been the best investment I've done. Highly recommended. I love that. Lil Moya, what's going on? And please make sure to drop a like if you guys learn anything during the stream. I try my best not to leave anything behind. Like I put it all out there on the table to try to get you guys the best quality information. I'll just show you how I trade live. I give you guys insights on my own trades and just do it right in front of you. So if you find any value in this, make sure to drop a like if you're on YouTube. Lil Moya says, hey, I have a question. Yeah, what's going on? So let's cover gold. I'm going to do gold on the higher time frames. To be honest, I'm not really, technically speaking, we're still creating higher lows and higher highs. So by all metrics, this thing is technically still bullish. In my personal opinion, I kind of feel like, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on this too much because I'm not necessarily a gold trader, but I do see some potential downside here. The only reason I could be bullish on gold is because the DXY is still dropping. So as the DXY is bearish, gold has every reason to continue bullish. So that's the only really bullish thing that I see on gold, besides obviously like the higher lows. But we had this rejection here, and then we had this massive liquidity grab. And then now we're forming a lower high. And so I don't know. To be honest, I don't really like gold. I don't mean like as in general as a pair to trade, but I just mean currently in its current location. Personally, I think I would just wait for a retest of the 72-74 zone. That's more likely where we can see that continuation. Just clear all that liquidity. Everyone who got in early and who's just trying to ride this thing out and hold, I think it's going to grab everyone's stop loss and break even and then continue to the upside. But again, I don't trade gold to the point where you guys should take that more than a grain of salt. Yeah, gold is one of those things that I used to trade religiously. And then eventually I realized that I'd make really good money on Forex pairs. So GU and EU and UJ. And I would give it all back in one gold trade. So that should give everybody an inclination, or that should give everybody some insight that what you want to trade is not necessarily what you should be trading. Based on your results, even though your biggest trade might have been with gold or might have been with US30 or NASDAQ even, you got to ask yourself, how much money has it taken on the other side? And so just because you've had your biggest trade on gold doesn't mean that that's the pair that you have to stick to. If you realize you're making money during the week or you're making money on other pairs, but one or two pairs is drawing down your account, it's probably time to put those to the side and to focus on what's working for you. Even though everybody wants to trade NAS, in that case, just do the Masterclass. But if everybody wants to trade NASDAQ, but it's drawing down your account, we got to be realistic here and just say maybe you should put that to the side. It's that simple. Hey, brother, you still doing the morning mindset calls at Chart Addicts? No, because we don't offer we don't do the memberships anymore. The only way to get into Chart Addicts right now is to go through one of the coaching programs. So we only have the most dedicated people in there. And I want to start doing the morning mindset calls, but to be honest, just get on the live streams and trade and make money. And then on here, you guys will be able to feed off of my mindset. Because if I show you that I do not give a fuck, if I show you that I'm trying my best to stay focused, that I'm prioritizing certain things in my trading as opposed to what everybody else is focusing on, that should help develop your mindset just through association. You know, when they say you're the 5 people that you hang around with the most, well, if you hang around me long enough, you might start to build your confidence, you might start to build your mindset. And so the mindset calls are important to have a structured way to explain mindset. But I think mindset just happens every day. Every day we're faced with decisions. Right now, we're all faced with a decision. Some people are blowing their accounts on this stream as we speak, and others are being patient and waiting. That's mindset. You're building it as we speak. Do you remember when you and your boyfriend said you were going to add the LBGT flag to Chart Addicts? Okay. Goodbye. Dave FX said, is the masterclass free? Bro, please answer. The masterclass ain't that good. Roy be capping. Well, Dakota, you weren't on there, were you? Dakota, were you on the masterclass or no? Dave says, bro, please answer. Dave, take 2 seconds. See, I told you guys I was going to stop responding to the trolls, but just take 2 seconds and go on our fucking website. Guys, I'm not here to baby you. Every other course that you've bought up until this point has had their fucking titty in your mouth. Like, oh my, no, it's okay. No, here, let me just give you all the information. Oh, customer service. Bro, fuck some of y'all. Grow the fuck up. If you don't know how to click on a link in a description, because that's how YouTube works. There's information in the description. And if you know how to click that and find info, you have zero business trading. Trading requires you to at least have some basic common sense. All right? So, yeah, I'm going to do what your dad didn't do and just basically get you guys, some of y'all, to fucking wake up. Weird question, but during daylight savings shift, do you notice any volume difference? No, not at all. Everything just shifts 1 hour. When I was in Chart Addicts, I loved those calls. Profit for life. Profit for life. Who is that? Profit for life. Isn't that ain't that a meal? Isn't that a meals company? Autobahn says no, it's not free. Yeah, in case it wasn't obvious at this point, no, I'm not going to give away my strategy for free, even though that's what I'm doing on these live streams. But if I'm going to do a curriculum for 4 days, of course I'm not going to do it for free. What's your SL on the NAS trade? Well, I haven't taken a NAS trade yet, so I don't really have an SL. I'll let you know once I take the trade. Looking forward to day 2. Luke, me and you both. Very excited for day 2. All right, yep. US30 coming down as well, giving us a nice pullback. I told you guys I'm looking for a pullback here at 33,720. So it's either going to be this zone or it's going to be all the way down here at 32,900. So retest of 33,700 or retest of 32,900. And I know this is the daily. I know that's a long way down. Trust me, I get it. More than likely, we're going to see this 33,700. Okay. I would not sell the retracement, by the way. Some idiots were blowing their accounts on the last stream because I said I was waiting for a pullback. And then in their mind, I don't know what the fuck was going on. Maybe it's drugs. But in their mind, they were like, oh, that means that he's set to sell it right now. Because he said that, it could come down for this retest. If you guys are making trading decisions based on an observation that I'm making, don't come back and cry to anybody. Nobody gives a fuck. Be an adult. Again. So I know I said I was going to stop cursing, but y'all got me in this mood. Okay. So make responsible trading decisions. If you see me take a trade and I have skin in the game now, I have something to lose, you can trust that I'm going to make a much better decision. If I'm just calling out an observation like, oh, I think this candle is going to come down, but I don't fucking know what this next candle is going to do. All I know is when the price, or if the price gets here, I'm going to buy it. So there's no guarantee that the market will reach your entry. This is why selling retracements is one of the dumbest things ever. Because there's no guarantee that the retracement is going to be an aggressive retracement, shallow, or a deep retracement. You just don't know. What you do know is if the market does come down to a previous demand level and the market respects and creates higher lows, then you have a much better chance of making money on the buy side. So it's a probabilistic weighted decision rather than a certainty weighted decision. And a lot of you guys are going to have to learn that the hard way. I was a member like a year ago. Oh, Noah or Nah. Is it Nah or Noah? I think you misspelled that, bro. What's up? Those really helped me, my brother. We'll have to for sure. Dave FX, if you ask one more stupid question, I'm going to kick you off, bro. I just told you to click on the link and to go figure it out. Like, do some work, man. What do I look like? Your fucking butler? Yeah, what's some advice you could share with a 19-year-old who's struggling to be profitable? Also, how long should I backtest during my free time, like the weekends? Thank you. So if you're 19, well, the question is, how long have you been trading for the 19-year-old? How often do I trade live? I stream live every day. I don't take a trade every day because that's kind of irresponsible, but I try to stream live every day. Right now, we're hitting about 4 or 5 days in a week. I want to get to the point where I'm streaming 6, maybe 7 days a week. Just so we can all build some kind of community here. Like the Chart Addicts community, we had it open for years. And I just wanted to open this up to the world. I want to show you guys how we do. A lot of people are doubtful on social media, whether the strategy works. Like, oh, you're only showing your winners. You're only showing your losers. It's like, okay, well, what's the most raw and authentic thing that I could do? Well, literally do it live in front of everybody for all your criticisms in real time. to put my reputation, to put my dignity on the line when I get on here, and to do this as often as possible, so that number one, I'm building my own mindset. Because if I can hold trades and I can have big money on the line and not panic while I have, 1,000 eyeballs on me, then I'm just going to be that much better when I'm by myself. So that's why we try to stream as often as possible. Nick says, Roy, ignore him. Nick, I'm trying, bro. I promise I'm trying. So I'm gonna do better. I will be better. That's my promise. I'm in US30 sells currently. Nice rejection off that top. Stop losses and break even. Yeah, I'm gonna be patient with this one. Something about this seems a little bit too good to be true. Perfect rejection off the 886. Nice liquidity grab above the range. Something about this is just a little bit too good to be true. I just want to see one more push, and then I think we can have a real sell-off. That's what I'll start doing. Extension levels, everything just got hit. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to wait for that one more push up. I don't know if I can make this any more obvious. It's for the people that are like, well, I didn't know. I had no idea. See how specific I can make this thing so that I cannot be misconstrued. Lesman Trades says, y'all need to grow up. Lesman, good to see you. What's your stance with the new FOMC meeting? Dovish? Personally, I saw it as a bullish sign. Jerome Powell dodged every single question. I've never been more embarrassed for Jerome Powell. The last Fed meeting was... So typically what the Fed's policy has been, or what the Fed's strategy has been, is to over-communicate, to let the market really digest the information, to be as clear as possible so that the markets can panic, and then the Fed can do their policy without having to worry about some outsized market reaction. Because typically the markets will just overreact to whatever the Fed does, and the Fed's strategy is just getting messed up all the time. So this last meeting provided too much uncertainty as to what the Fed's policies are really going to look like. The only thing that we know is we're most likely going to head into a recession. When we head into a recession, the Fed prints. And so I think the markets are pricing in the Federal Reserve printing money in this next recession. Because I told you guys, the markets are forward-looking by about 6 months. And that number changes, obviously, depending on the market, depending on the conditions. But they're making a bet. Institutional investors and traders are making a bet as to what's going to happen in the future. So yes, we're going into a turbulent time right now, and we're about to enter a recession at some point, because that's what Jerome Powell was saying, is recession is incoming. But because of that, the reaction is that the Fed will print, and so the markets are voting in advance of that inevitable reaction. Make sense? A year in, bro, been in blues and reds, but consistency is hard. Well, let me tell you, my bro, is that most people take about 4 to 5 years to reach real consistency in trading. You'll see profits well before then. But to get to the point where you have zero interest in even making those mistakes, you don't even feel the FOMO anymore, because it's just like, it's a disgusting feeling when I think about breaking my rules. That does take a lot of time. Now, it doesn't have to take you that much time if you follow one system that you trust, and you actually follow that all the way through and not strategy hop from one course to the next, to the next, to the next, and you really allow that success threshold to build, you're going to see the success a lot sooner than 4 or 5 years. So I guess my biggest tips would be stick to one thing, master the hell out of it. And you're asking the wrong question on the second half, which is how much should I backtest in my free time? Dude, until your fucking eyes bleed. All right? Because when I was losing money, I just had to get obsessed. I had to get disgusted with myself and say, what am I missing? Because every time I would lose a trade, the reality is, this is a good exercise for all of you. The reality is that someone else won that trade. And you have to start asking yourself, what did they see? And so when I was losing so consistently, I was like, wait, if I just did the opposite of what I'm doing, I know I'm going to make money. So then I start to look at what are the other people seeing that I'm missing, and I realized I was looking at the charts the exact opposite of how I should be looking at them. Those who showed up to the first class yesterday for the NAS bootcamp, and those who are going to show up tonight for that masterclass, God, I promise you, you're never going to see the markets the same after today, and even after yesterday, because most retail traders are following the same framework of how to look at markets, which is really just focused on trend chasing, which is when the market starts moving, then I'm going to go bullish. Same with investing. Look at crypto. No one's buying crypto right now. I guarantee the second that Bitcoin hits 60K or 50K, you're going to have all these late retail investors starting to jump in. All right. So the reality of the situation is that if you're a retail trader looking to make the most amount of money, you have to start looking at the incentives that drive the institutional traders and investors. And instead of trying to fight the market, develop a strategy to trade along with them so that you can make consistent profits. Put a 1 in the chats if that makes sense, everybody. Uh-oh. It's 10 o'clock. Sells are happening. It's happening. Oh my God. Somebody coughing up a lung outside my window, bro. Are they good? I'm gonna move to Wyoming. The only thing I want to deal with is like foxes and coyotes and dumb shit. Let me go over here and, bro, move. There we go. Give me some. Beautiful. So here's the pre-session consolidation. We have these fakes up. I'm looking for a fake down, and then we're going to buy it either. $15 flats, no good. We'll see. I'm thinking about either the 15,000 flat or maybe a bit lower, or 15,030 or maybe a bit lower. If we break this zone, then I'm looking at down here at 14,900. And is it too late to enter the sells? No, I don't think so. I mean, right now at this current price, yes, but here's how I'm looking to enter the sell. So here's the top of my consolidation range. We had a fake up, and then we just had this retest. I'm actually going to move this up just slight, like this. Where's London session? London session, London session, London session. It's too high. Okay, no problem. So here's the daily range that we're operating in, 15,150 and then 15,090. So I want to see a push and a break below this level right here. And then it's going to come up for one more pullback, and then that's where I'm going to short it. And I want to short it to the bottom of the range and then potentially a little bit lower. Okay, so it's either we get this pullback and we sell right here, or we're going to buy below the daily range. Those are the only two options. That simple. US30 looking nice. The 1 hour wick is beautiful. Love to see it. Oh, wait, let me make sure I get this out the way. Oh, nice. This is exactly what I was expecting on NASDAQ, that break below. Love to see it. Love to see it. Love to see it. Which means NASDAQ could be following up here pretty soon. So let's see if we structured this trade as is, how would the risk and reward look? Stops above the wick. So if I entered at the current price, I'm looking at a 1.3 to 1 R. If I wait for that retest at the high of the range, I'm looking at an almost 2 to 1 R. So the difference between making $1,300 and making close to $1,900 on the same trade is just waiting for that little bit of a better entry. And if I entered above the range, if it came up there to retest, that'd be a 3-to-1. If we were to wait for that correction and then take that trade. So my job is not to be in a trade. My job is to find risk and reward opportunities that will allow me to make money using my positive expectancy system, my edge, my strategy. So 1.27 R&R, yeah, that's not my thing. Not really inspiring a lot of excitement or confidence here. Thanks a lot, G. I appreciate the wisdom. Of course, brother. Just keep bro, you're young, 19 years old. You got plenty of time. I'm really enjoying watching the streams every day. Tons of value and being absorbed. When I can't watch it live, I'm definitely watching it in my free time. Thanks for sharing. For sure, Biggie Smalls. Appreciate that support, man. Chart Addicts and all his circle is full of knowledge. Thank you, brother. Roy goes above and beyond. Join the bootcamp. Do you consider yourself an institutional trader? No, I mean, I trade my own capital. So by definition, I'm a retail trader. I start doing the opposite. Yeah. I lived in Wyoming for 3 years, the Air Force, and I can say I'd go back to live. It's beyond peaceful and just very cold, and that's the only downfall. Yeah, no, I can't do the cold. I'm gonna stick to Miami weather for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, just as a reminder, I have not taken any trades. My MetaTrader is right here. You will know when I take a trade. Okay? Do not sit here and pretend to hold me responsible for any stupid decisions that you may or may not make. This is not financial advice. This is not financial advice. You will see when I take a trade, and you will have the ability to either do whatever you want, like take the same trade, or stay out and watch me either make money or lose money. What I will not accept on the stream is people who take random trades because of what they're seeing in front of them. So you guys, they see this markup, they hop on late, and they just start to enter trades because they think they missed the trade. And then they're in the group chats talking about or they're in the comment section talking about, bro, the strategy sucks. You said this, you said that. Do not associate me, my strategy, and the hard work I've put in with your stupid decisions, guys. Please. I think it's very disrespectful, and it's happened every single stream last week. Let's be mindful here. FX Summit 2024 Dubai is for sure. Yes. The answer I say is yes, is because it's going to be a long flight for a lot of you. But it's worthwhile. Trust me. It was a 14-hour flight for me. So just kind of goes to show here that it's going to be a commitment to go. Oh my God. UJ886 retest. Look at this. Consolidation. Fake up, fake down, trend, and then retest of the lows. At the 88.6 from bottom to top, 88.6. The buy limit is going. I'm going to put an alert here so I can enter this trade, but I'm adding an alert on UJ. And yo, I gotta change that sound. Do you guys remember that fucking sound? The beep beep. Oh my God! I felt like my computer was about to explode. It's like I'm way too Arab to be having these weird ass sounds coming off my laptop. It was like 3, 2, 1. I said shit. I like the more traditional sounds for the alerts. You guys know me. I'm not trying to panic when the price gets there. I'm being cool, calm, and collected. All right, we're looking at about an 80 pip stop loss. If this thing actually comes back for a double bottom at the 886, it's only going to be about 65 pips from the retest price that I'm personally looking at up to the previous highs is about a 2.7 to 1. If this thing comes back for a double bottom, we have an almost, wait, let me actually be fair here, 3.5 to 1 R. Remarkable. UJ to the moon, UJ to the moon. Even though the DXY is not necessarily confirmed bullish yet, because granted, we've been bullish for a while. Now we have this massive retest. What it looks like is happening right now is a correction. Okay, so while this goes up, we can't really expect UJ to make that pump just yet. But we have the Japanese yen index, which is it's basically the DXY, but for Japan, it's a basket of all the world's currencies. And then they're putting the yen versus a basket of all the world's currencies. How is the yen reacting compared to the rest of the world? That's what the DXY and the JPY index is. This thing is crashing. When this crashes, anything that has a JPY at the end of it, any pair that has a JPY at the end of it is going to go up. some more than others. You guys tell me, why will some JPY pairs move more than others? What could make UJ push more than, let's say, CHF JPY, even though JPY is dropping? So like they should all be going up. But why are some going to move faster than others? Did we miss the sells? Oh, I believe we did. So I'm going to get on the 5 minutes here. Wait for the break of structure. Oh, man. The 88.6 for the day is sitting perfectly. Maybe not perfectly. I'm going body to wick. Zones are confirmed. About 15,100. That's the daily 886. Like from the bottom to the top, this is the 88.6 right here. So more than likely, this is going to be another buy opportunity here. So I'm going to look to sell at 15,151. I'm going to look to buy down here at 15,100. And if we just break straight through the zone, that's when those levels I mentioned earlier, like 1530 and 15,000 flat, are going to come into play. So for now, I'm just going to look at this local zone, the structure, this area of interest. And that's it. The shorts were very straightforward. We got about 8 minutes left until that 10:20 session. So I'm hoping to get again, hope is not a strategy, but I am looking forward to getting some sort of pullback here to 151 before this thing continues to drop. That's so far. Yeah, Scott. Well, Scott says F that. Well, it's your loss. I'm from Europe, so I really like the location. Yeah, trust me, it's awesome. Truth is, we're all trading our own money and making our own decisions. We have to take that responsibility. Well, Estes, you clearly have the maturity to be involved in this game. The reason that I get so concerned is when I see people say things that clearly show that they're not capable or willing to be a trader, like sacrifice, like impulse control, like taking personal responsibility. So if you have those characteristics, it's not about intelligence. Trading is not about intelligence. Trading is not about whoever is like the Mahatma Gandhi. Trading is a lot about personal or like self-awareness, knowing how you react to high stress situations and how to give yourself the best advantage in these situations, how to not get caught up in the emotions of trading and blaming others and really just keeping yourself accountable. So the emotional maturity, I would say, is one of the most important skill sets to learn as a trader, as opposed to the technical skill set, which is what most tend to focus on. You have to do a FX summit in Vegas. Dude, I saw that dome that you guys have over there. I thought about it, but that's the devil's playground, and I have no interest in being in that state or that city. I'm already in the UJ trade 8R. Love to see it. The base pairs economic strength, Estes, exactly. The reason that some USD JP or some JPY pairs is because the currency that goes in front is going to have its own reaction. The best trades are where the base currency and the quoted currency are doing the exact opposite. That's when you have big ass moves. That's why I'm so bullish on UJ, because I believe the dollar is going to continue bullish forever. And I believe that the JPY is going to continue bearish forever. And that just means that for the next 3-5 years, I can keep shorting USD JPY. It's that simple. Sorry, I mean buying USD JPY. I don't know why I said shorting. I said shorting the yen, but buying USD JPY for the next 3 to 5 years. All right. Do you guys want to talk about world economics or no? I know I'm giving a lot of great insight as to how to be successful at trading just through years of experience and obviously the thousands of traders I have personally coached and also interviewed as part of the Expert Trader series. And so I'm just giving you guys as much insight as I can, but I want to know any specific topics that you all want me to cover. This could be our pullback, by the way, people. I don't know if we'll get a full pullback up to the zone. Like this is how it's going to look if we enter the trade here. Get away with stops right above the wick. If it just makes it down to the bottom of the range, you're looking at a 0.7 to 1 R. If it goes down to that second TP, it's 1.6 to 1 R. Like the difference between this entry and waiting for it to hit back the top. Yeah, for me, it's the difference between making, I mean, shit, even if I entered right here, between making $1,500 for every 1,000 risked and making $2,700. Everybody here would love an extra 1,200 bucks on a trade. I don't care how rich you are. It's just a matter of fact. And so the only way to really do that, if you're not going to wait for a good entry, is to over leverage. Well, if I want to make more money, I just have to risk more. No. You can wait for better entries, and then you can use a higher lot size, but you're not risking any more than you normally are. You're risking that same 1%. But you're just able to use a much bigger lot size because the stop loss is smaller. All right. I do want to scale into this. So I'm going to put 5, 10, and then potentially 20 up here. So I'm going to start to scale into this trade. Pretty risky here, but that's why the first order I put in is always very, very small. That way, if this thing starts to retrace, I'm not thinking in my mind, I'm not panicking and thinking, oh, I got to close this trade. When you have conviction and you've risked appropriately on that position, you're thinking in your mind, oh, I can't wait for it to retrace a little bit higher so I can enter more. So that's why the first trade I take is typically small. It's 1/4 or 1/5 the normal position size. And that allows me to think clearly even if I go into drawdown. So that first order is now in. Stops above the wick. And let's see if we get this follow through. I got in a bit higher here. Not the best, not the worst entry. Okay. Maximizing profits while in a trade or prior. Will you touch on the boot camp, why you chose 10:20 as the session time? Yeah, of course. Today's session is going to explain everything. It's going to explain why I use the box, why I look at session times, how I found that specific window where I trade. Yeah, we're going to go through it. Trust me. Today's going to be a really fun session. Yo, where's my shit, man? All right. Yeah, UJ is graduating to the top of my list. That's the trade that is lining up the most beautiful right now. This is just too good to be true. Euro USD, I think, still has some room to go. I think that we're going to see a pullback and a little bit more room before we end up really crashing. So for now, I'm not shorting Euro USD anymore. I'm waiting for this correction to end. Once the correction's over, I'll start to swing trade again. It all depends on the DXY. That's what we're all waiting for. Okay, give me 1 sec. I'm going to grab something to drink. If you guys have any questions or any pairs you'd like me to cover, put them in the chats now. I'm going to go grab a quick coffee, and I'll be right back. What broker are you using on TradingView? So for the quote, I'm using Oanda. You can see that there's a slight difference in price between Oanda and FTMO. So here, this is 138. FTMO says 132. So I always try to go back and forth and just see, okay, what is the difference in the current price? You can see like the bid and the ask are sitting at like 42 right now, 41, 42. This is about 36. So there's a 5-point differential here. So whatever my stop loss is or take profit is, I will have to adjust it by 5 to 7 points. And I always try to account for spread. So if I'm trying to adjust it by 5 points, then I'll raise it by 8 or 10 points, just in case the spread just basically just negates the value of the trade. All right, I was gonna go grab this drink, but I'm looking at entering one more position here. But I'll be patient. See if it comes back up to 157 for a better entry. But I did want to enter another position at 139 here. But they're too close to each other. I'd rather get a bit more of a pullback to enter. It would have been precision right there, though. All right, I'm actually gonna go grab this coffee. Give me about 1 minute. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. What happened? Ooh, thing pulled all the way back up. Yeah, this thing could very likely push bullish at this point. Not bullish, but just push up higher before we drop. Maybe a nice double top here. But that's why the first order is so small. Not small, but smaller than I would normally throw. Because whatever the drawdown is that I'm experiencing, like this is what, like $80? Okay. So typically I'd like to throw 1% on a position total. That's like the maximum. I'll throw 1/4% to 0.5% usually. And so that would put me at 0.5% is $1,000, give or take. 1/4% is about $500. So I'm so far away from even risking 1/4% on the drawdown that I can still think in that rational perspective. You guys see the benefit? It's not always about maximizing profits. It's about the mental peace you get and the ability to make good decisions. To me personally, is worth way more than just, maximizing every single trade. Because if you're maximizing trades at the expense of your mental peace, you're always going to struggle in trading. You'll find some way to give it back. Damn, this was the re-entry up here at 150. I think I missed it while I was in the. Well, I didn't miss it. We just saw it form, but yeah, I did not act fast enough. Let me do something here. The trading panel, the paper trading, connect. I'll put the paper trade up. Paper trading is currently unavailable. What the fuck? Okay. That's weird. But my rule is, like, I want to re-enter this trade, but it has to be a smaller lot size than the trade that's above it. So if this is a 5 lotter, I'm gonna have to go smaller on the next order here. Right? Unless we push up. If we push above it, I can enter higher or larger position sizes above that zone. And I'll talk about all this on day 3 of the boot camp. For those of you guys that are watching, I'm gonna go through all of this in real depth. But don't worry if you don't, if it's not all making sense right away. All right. It's 10:20 or it's 10:25. This is kind of the session that I normally trade. It's a 45-minute session from 10:20 to 11 a.m. So we have about 40 minutes until this trade is like playing out, or it might just keep playing in this entry zone. So what typically happens is we'll just have one move from that 40-minute session, or the market will continue to play here for this 40-minute session, but this is going to be the entry for the day. And then it'll move after we get off the stream. So either way, this is the area I'm looking at. The only thing that would make this bullish, in my perspective, is if we fill this wick. If we fill this wick, even just anything more than 50%, there's a good chance this thing continues to fly. So for now, those are the two signs I'm watching, is if this thing stays below and continues to obviously make its way down, we're in profits. If it comes up and begins to fill this previous 30-minute wick, then more than likely this thing is pushing bullish, and we can just close out the trades early and not have to take the full loss. What do you think about gold? I just got on the live, okay? Bro, what indices is more volatile, NAS100 or US30? It depends on the market conditions. If there's something that's happening that's going to impact the risks, the overall risk sentiment, typically NASDAQ reacts a lot more, because NASDAQ is a lot of forward-looking stocks. You're betting on stuff like all these technology companies, on stuff that's going to happen in the next 5-10 years, like NVIDIA taking over the Taiwan chip operation, domesticating our chip manufacturing. So those things are so forward-looking that they're more like, they're typically put, risk sentiment decides what assets are seeing all the money flows. So you're either going to see flows into safe havens when things are uncertain. You're going to see flows into these speculative high-risk assets when things are a little bit better for the economy. So what we're seeing is industrial stocks and financial stocks like US30, they typically do well when market conditions are stable. NASDAQ typically flies when the market is excited, not stable, but more excited, and sort of betting on the future and really willing to go further out into the risk curve, or willing to take more risk. How much do you have in funded capital if you are okay with it? I have 400,000 now, and I'm looking to get to I was looking to get to $1 million by the end of the year, but I did breach several accounts. That does happen, especially if you're trying to rush your results. I made some mistakes this year where I got too ahead of myself and I tried to rush results. I blew a lot of funded challenges that I should not have, and I blew funded accounts that I should not have. But just like with any mistake, you got to pick yourself up. You got to get back, and one step at a time, climb back up the mountain. And that's what I'm doing now. So 400K funded with 2 firms. I'm looking to maximize the amount of funding I get at FTMO, because I know they have a limit. And so I'm going to get the max number of funded accounts at FTMO and then start to scale there. I might start a challenge today, actually, just so I can do it while I'm doing the NAS bootcamp, and just kind of show you guys a few live trades, if there are any, on that challenge. Be like, okay, well, can you pass a challenge using the strategy? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's do it live. Roy, how do you have the iPad version of MetaTrader on your computer? I downloaded off the MacBook store, the Apple Mac store. Hey, Roy, you don't think it will drop down to 14,550 area? I mean, that's the thing, is you never know. When you're trading in a bullish market, you have to assume the market direction is going to continue unless it says otherwise. So if I short, what I do is I always leave a small percentage of my order open, like 10%. That way, even if it hits this TP, I don't set a hard take profit, because when it hits this zone, I will have closed 90% of my trade, but I still want a position running. So if I have 10 lots, I'll just leave 1 lot open. And if it does go to 14,450, then I'll just make a lot of money. And if it doesn't, then at least I pulled out what I was okay with losing. Like everything after the 90% was just extra credit. So I could, but I'm really just kind of looking at the local structure here. What if it comes up to fulfill the wick, but then it rejects and starts to go down? I'll enter again, Omer. Omer? I don't know. Good question, though. The daily time frame shows a downtrend or a high or low. So let's talk about momentum versus trend. When you have a market direction that's going like this, even though you have flag corrections, this flag retracement where there are lower lows and lower highs forming, it doesn't necessarily mean the market's bearish. Typically, flags are an indication of a continuation of that trend. So what we're expecting next would be this, or more than likely, this is what I'm expecting, is a retracement back in, for everyone to think it's bearish, and then it continues. All right. And if it doesn't, then this is the area we're watching for, inverted head and shoulders, and this is where we'll buy. So it's pretty straightforward. Like, we're back at the highs here. We're going to see the retracement. I'm shorting the retracement right now. I'm shorting that correction back down to this area right here. Probably 14,750 would be, this would be like the main zone. But really, I just see like a dip and continuation. If that doesn't happen, maybe a full correction down. I hope that makes sense, everybody. And another reason is we have this area of support here, this area of support here, and it got violated twice. So it kind of just really, really looks like bearish action is in order. But then you have a shift in market momentum where we're breaking all this local structure here. And then right now we're coming back up to this area of structure, which we might break. So even though the market did create lower lows and lower highs, the fact that we've had this aggressive recovery back above the support zone shows that buyers have more conviction, more intent, and more volume on their side. So if buyers are winning and they have control over the market, chances are that more buyers will continue to step in and push this market higher. Now, again, I could be wrong, but that's just what I'm seeing here based on the market action. Daily time frame shows how come US30 and NAS trade similar? I've noticed if US30 is trending down, the NAS100 will follow it up because they're both stock market indices, and stocks in the US are typically following the same market sentiment. If everybody's excited to buy stocks, you'll tend to see generally flows into stocks. Now, the reason I said there's a difference between NAS and US30 is because they do react differently depending on, I guess, volatility. So there's something called the volatility index, the VIX, which tracks how much volatility there is just overall in financial markets. Typically, NASDAQ is more highly reactive the higher the VIX is, so the more volatility there is generally. And US30, like they move in similar directions, but just don't trade them the same. I think that's the best way I can say it. S&P 500 and US30 are basically similar because the top 30 stocks, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is US30, is the top 30 names in the S&P 500 index. So in the top 30 names in the S&P 500 index, well, the top 10 names in the S&P move the whole index. So you really, US30 and S&P 500 are very similar. The only difference is, as you guys might have seen yesterday in the boot camp, that US30 is a price-weighted index and NASDAQ and S&P 500 are market cap-weighted indices. That's the only difference. Makes sense. Thank you. Good stuff. Drop a like if you guys are on YouTube and if you've taken away anything from the stream. The more likes that we get, the more exposure that we have, the more likely I am to continue doing these streams and to really keep pumping out incredible content, giving you guys up-to-date information on Forex news, and also breaking down key concepts that I feel like are misunderstood or misrepresented in the Forex space. So if you guys wouldn't mind, 150-something people on here, if you guys could just drop a like real quick if you've learned something, or if you're just, even if you're on here, it would mean a lot to us. All right, about half an hour left in my little mini session. This is where the patience comes in. Only thing I don't like is the smaller time frames. We have a fake up and a fake down below this 8 a.m. range, which kind of indicates to me that it wants to push a little bit higher. So if we don't see a close back under my 2 sell entries, this thing starts to push. A very good chance we fill the wick. So patience is a virtue. I'm not going to make too many assumptions until the market actually moves, but just showing you guys in real time my thought process of how I'm evaluating candle by candle and how I'm making some of these decisions. US30 is looking good. We got this consolidation range here. Push up, push down. I don't like it. That's why patience pays. Lesman Trace has been done that for you, my boy. Lesman, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you. That's some support, man. I really like this crowd that keeps showing. I want the same names to keep showing up because I'm starting to like remember the names. I'm starting to see people, and I live for this. A lot of serious traders all in the same place, and it's all out here on the table. There's no BS. There's no, the trade's either going to go our way or it's not. And so you guys can see the strategy in real time with full explanation, plus my mindset of holding, closing, and some of those nuanced things that you never get to see. If a signals provider sends a signal, you don't see if they're panicking in the back. You don't see if they're convicted in the trade. You don't really see the confidence. But here you can. And I think that's very important. Your time and analysis, always appreciated. Thank you, Vanessa. Appreciate you hopping on. Not a big fan of this inverted head and shoulders right here. Not a big fan of this. All right. I got to see this next candle close bearish. Maybe not this next candle, but we got to see these candles start to push down here. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys think it's going to break up first. Put a 2 in the chat if you think it's going to break down. Put a 1 in the chat if you think it's going to break up first. Put a 2 in the chat if you think it's going to break down. Let's see this sentiment here. Omer says, from your opinion, how can we find out the sentiment of NAS100 before we start looking at the charts? Typically, that's done on higher time frames. Sentiment revolves around 3 key characteristics. And so, Omer, I explain all these in the fundamentals course, or in not the fundamental, the NAS100 masterclass, which is what are the key data points that affect the sentiment? Where does bullish and bearish sentiment for NAS100 come from? And then how do we judge that risk on and risk off sentiment? So I explain all those things in the masterclass. Very important to learn. I've learned a lot of patience being on these streams with you. Thank you. For sure, Paul Wall Street. A lot of people are saying up, then down, up, then down. Oh, yeah. That's most likely what's going to happen here. So again, small position sizes at first, the tester positions. This one is negative $70. Oh no. This one's negative $50. You guys can see, like, as a proportion to the 200K in the account, or the, the margin, whatever, these are just basically inconsequential trades. If I lose both of these, this is at 134, but it's a 50 points at 5. That's about $250 risk on this one. And this is about $150 risk on this bottom one. So total risk, all in check. And I am looking to enter more orders as long as we respect and start to respect this wick here. Sounds better. To be honest, I didn't even check. I had the what's it called? I tried it yesterday. So this is a fun way to look at these entries on the smaller time frames. 5-minute time frame. 88.6 entries right here at 168. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm actually gonna hedge myself out of my trade. Again, the actions that I'm taking are not, I'm not telling you guys to do what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm showing you how I trade and allowing you inside my process so you can see my thought process. So what I'm going to do right here is actually take another sell entry and I'm going to hedge myself out of the trade, meaning that the market comes back to my original trades. I'm going to close those and hold this top one. So what I'm going to wait to see is a rejection of the 886. As soon as I see that, that's where I'll enter that position. So a little bit of patience here. Right now we're still pushing up. I want to see this thing reject it, which means have the body of the candle come back under that zone. And that's what I'll be waiting for. So The trades that I entered up here at the 165, I'm going to be using a 15 lot as opposed to the 5 lots I had down here. And this will be the last entry that I have for the day. 181. Where is this? Oh, right here. Nice. So here's the truth about hedging. Hedging allows you to be wrong about the direction and still make money, as long as you can anticipate where the corrections might be. So if this thing pushes back down and corrects, let's say halfway, just only halfway, I can close these orders in drawdown. I can close this order in profit, and then they will cancel each other out, and I'll still be able to walk away with profits today. So I'll show you how that looks like. And again, this is not financial advice. Please don't blindly take the same trades as me. Understand the reason I'm taking the trades and make a decision as to whether or not that's appropriate for your account. Just a reminder for everybody. It will come up to fill the wick and then reject and come down. I could see that too. I could see that too. Is that stop loss hit? No, the stop loss is above the wick. The stop loss is above the wick. So on FTMO right here, they're sitting above 180. Okay, I'm going to show you this hedge. Once it makes it down halfway, I'll have a choice to close this in partials or just to move my stops and break even and then reduce my risk on these trades. All right, so that's a decision I'll have once this thing starts to pull back a little bit, or if it starts to pull back. We'll see. I can minimize this screen, come here, minimize this screen, and put these bad boys side by side. This thing very well might break the highs. All right, we're starting to get that pullback here. So let's take a look at the just numbers wise. Okay. Wait for this thing to correct a little bit more. Ooh, I don't like that. Hit that zone and quick rejection. I don't like that because that could mean an aggressive push up without a real pullback. So patience pays, but not looking too hot. So let's talk about numbers real quick and let's see the importance of hedging. And if you guys are part of the NAS100 Masterclass, I will cover this in more depth tonight. But the original trade I took, that 5 lot trade, is in drawdown about $100. The 15 lot trade I entered is in profit about $80. You guys can see how it's almost like a 1-to-1. So by the time that this thing makes it halfway, the profits off the 15 lot will be way bigger than the drawdown on the 5 and the 3. So I could close those and hold this one, or just any combination, depending on how my risk appetite, like what my risk appetite is like that day. On days where I'm very willing to take the risk, I'll just hold it. I'll hold this top one. I'll wait for these to come back into break even and close them. But on days where I'm really just not looking to take a lot of unnecessary risk and just really trying to take my trades and get out, I'll do what I'm about to do right now, which is close those original entries in drawdown or in negative, take partial profits to cover the loss, and then let the rest ride. Okay, so let's do that right now. I'll actually close the 3 lot trade. That one. Well, it looks like we're getting a nice push down. Okay, so I closed one of those trades in negative. Matter of fact, I'll hold this one only because the risk is so small that, I've already accepted the risk on that trade. But what I want to do is move my stops to break even on that top entry. Okay, so now the top entry is floating about $300. The 5-lot trade is now in drawdown about 45 bucks. You know what? Let's do that. Let me do this. I close that OG position and close the $100. So I'm in break even for the day. And I still have this 10 lot sitting with a precision entry that I'm just going to let ride all the way down. All right. So risk management and hedging and closing these trades early, it's not about maximizing profits. A lot of people are going to be like, no, why'd you close? It's going to drop. It's crashing. You should have held the whole thing. When you make these decisions, or when I make these decisions, I'm not doing it from a perspective of maximizing profits. I think that's a gambler's mindset. I do it from the perspective of a risk management. Like I'm trying to manage the amount of money I'm putting up, I'm putting on the table. I don't want to be taking unnecessary. I don't want to put my account at risk. Does that make sense? We have to, because that's the job, right? You put money at risk to make money. But my job as a risk manager is to protect the account first and then make money. And protecting the account first means being very selective and then making decisions based on risk management as a priority as opposed to maximizing profits. Retest of the 5-minute supply zone and then a push down. Okay. What was the contract size with What's the contract size with FTMO on NAS? So if you use a traditional account, I think it's a standard lot size is $10 a pip, or $10 a point, excuse me. If you use a swing account, the swing trading account allows you to hold trades through news and then through the sessions, which for me is incredible, but you're limited to 1 to 30 leverage, which you really don't need more than 1 to 30 leverage. So I have to 10x the lot sizes I use. If I was using the funded trader, for example, I would have 1 lot here, or even less, or like 0.7 or something. And so just keep in mind that this is an FTMO swing trading account with 1 to 30 leverage, which is why the lot sizes are going to appear way higher than what you would normally see on a traditional broker. I do not think I'm throwing 10 real lots like you know what I'm saying? This is not 10 real lots. Let's be real about this. Okay, put a 1 in the chat if you guys learned something today. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys learned something today. You guys remember what I said at the beginning of the stream? You guys remember how I wrote this out like it was in crayon? I said sell here at the 200. We never quite made it up there. But I had that zone at 167, which is now being rejected. Not to say that the market's going to keep dropping from here. The market could very well push up one more time to the 200 zone. And I still think that's a possibility. But for now, I'm going to milk this thing. I think we're going to see a break through the zone again. So probably another 20 or 30 points. I will close half the trade and then let the rest ride to see if it wants to push all the way to the downside. Good stuff. Chart Addicts members, who took the trade? Just out of curiosity, did anybody take the sells? If you took the sells, did you hedge out? Just talk to me about what you guys did. And of course, if you guys missed out on the NAS100 Masterclass registrations, the registrations for the December class is open. Gabe says, great class, always learning and mastering the basics. My guy, Gabe, next up. Gabe says, I hedged out. I love to see that, bro. Awesome stuff. Noah, good to have you on here as usual, my friend. Big Mo Santisi in the house. Mo, were you able to get on yesterday on the class? Bobby said, I took the sells, but ended in BE. I'm out for the day. All right. No worries, Bobby. Still a good day. Did you follow your rules at least? Okay, dope. And if you guys haven't already smashed that like button, please make sure to do so before you step out. The stream is not done, but we're about to wrap up here in the next 10 minutes. So drop a like on your way out if you guys got to head out. This is the same trade. All these levels are the exact same. If the market breaks up to the 15,200, I will sell this again later tonight. What I'm expecting, and please remember this because I'm going to flex this later tomorrow. And if no one remembers the trade, it's hard for me to flex and to kind of talk my shit. So please try to remember this. We can expect a push up to the 200 zone, consolidation, breakthrough and drop, This could happen either in the second half of today's session or more than likely tomorrow. We'll have this consolidation overnight, and then New York session, we might have a retest right here for the real push down. This could happen today or tomorrow, still a possibility. What I would much, and by the way, that's a possibility. What would negate the possibility of that trade is if the market actually finishes this move, creates either a double bottom or ideally a break of that low, and then pushes up. If this thing pushes down like this, then the sell move is done. Okay, at that point, this thing is going to continue to the upside. All right, so I'm looking for the sells to my buy entries. Okay, because I'm bullish on the stock market. The higher time frames are still bullish, and sentiment wise, I think that there's no reason for the markets to be panicking because Jerome Powell has not indicated the guarantee of any more rate hikes this year. Knowing Jerome Powell, he's very generous in Novembers and Decembers, especially in his speeches, and he tends to give the market a sense of relief and rally before the new year. So I think we can expect to see bullish action through the new year, and then coming up into December, mid-December, we'll see a lot of a lot of institutions, they sell stocks, and the end of the, I would say, stock selling period is at the end of October. People sell a lot of their losing stocks so they can write off their gains, so they can write off those losses against the profits they made that year. If you make $1 million, but you lost 500 grand, on paper, you only made 500 grand. Right? And so they'll sell some losing stocks and take losses on purpose just to write off those losses. And so you can see the Elons and the Jeff Bezoses selling shares of their companies. What that typically does is it leads to a cascade effect where hedge funds start to sell those stocks because they're like, oh, if the founder's selling, not good. And then what happens is retail starts to see those stocks dumping, and eventually they start to dump those stocks too. So if we see that selling at the end of this year, more than we've already seen, because I think that write-off period is basically like it's already juiced. Right? November, December, people are starting to rebalance their portfolio for the new year. So I would say if we see another one of those big drops, then we're going to have a massive crash in 2024. If we don't really see that big drop, if it just stagnates whenever Jerome Powell panics the markets, but it consistently moves bullish, I think that January and February are both going to be bullish 2024. So the trend is your friend. Assume that a trend in motion will remain in motion unless structure gets broken. That's that's Roy Duna's first law of trading thermodynamics. A trend in motion will remain in motion unless an area of interest gets broken. There you go. Put that on a fucking t-shirt. Is anyone funded with TFT? I bought a challenge and still haven't got access to the account. Oof. Guys, be careful with these prop firms. There's a lot of shadiness going around. A lot of these prop firms will not exist going into the next 10 months and going into the next 3 months. A lot of these prop firms will not exist. So please, please, please be careful. I know they're offering great deals and discounts and promos, but I would hate for you guys to be very disciplined and sacrifice 4, 5 months or even weeks of your life trying to be successful and then have the account just get closed. I think that that's messed up. I'm going to enter one more. I'm going to enter one more order. Again, it's got to be smaller than my original size. Well, actually, I'll do 5. This is a nice rejection candle. We retested the highs of this candle, and now we're starting to reject. This could be a nice pullback for another leg down. Beautiful. So on that trade I just took, yeah, I'm not risking the original amount that I would be risking on a trade. Again, I'm risking a percentage of the profits or a percentage of like whatever I was okay with losing earlier, which was like, let's say 250, $300. That's what I was risking on the second order. Just stay with the large firms, you'll be fine. But Scott, even the top 3 firms, so MFF went under. That's an argument that even the large firms are susceptible to bankruptcy. And then you look at TFT as having a bunch of issues too. A lot of their subsidiary companies like, what was it? What's that one? Leveled up and secure the back, and all those are kind of like there's a lot of issues happening, man. Trust me. There's a lot of stuff happening in the back end. Why would the firms close? Not all will close. A lot will stay around. A lot will rebrand under a different name and still survive. But really, it's because there's a combination of regulation coming into the space. Because in case you don't know, the prop firm model was not 100% legitimate until they started to explicitly say that these are demo trading accounts or simulated profits. When they were pretending to fund people real capital, that was all against a lot of financial regulations. Now, what's happening today is a lot of them are connected to these offshore brokers. These offshore brokers are not regulated, but they're servicing clients in countries that you need regulation, like the US and Canada and some of these other places. So the brokerages are going to get in trouble first, and the prop firms will have to find some very what I would say shady ways to continue to execute everyone's trades without any disruption with what's happening with MetaTrader kicking off the brokers. So yeah, I think the regulation aspect is going to hit the brokers first. They'll all do shady things to stay in business, and then because of those shady actions, they will inevitably pay the price. And also, the prop firm model only works when you have new people coming in all the time spending money on challenges because it's a Ponzi scheme. And so the Ponzi only ever works when you have new money, right? Like, does everyone understand how prop firms work, or does everyone need a refresher? I feel like this is common knowledge at this point, but just in case, let me know. Why from where I can learn fundamentals? You can take my fundamentals course that's on our website. Scott says drug money, bro. Well, that's a wild accusation. Like, does money laundering happen? Of course. But out of the 5 million, 100 million prop firms that came out this year, are all of them funneling drug money? Let's be real, no. All of them, or some of them mostly, are most of them just stupid and ignorant and don't really understand the risk and the responsibilities of running a financial services company? Yes. Are 5% of them genuinely malicious? Like the MFF lawsuit, they released a lot of their personal messages amongst the owners of the company, and they were saying shit like, we got to slip these traders to hell, slip them to hell. It's the only way we're going to rake in these profits. All the winning traders just slip them during their trades, and then when they complain, just fucking block their account. So a lot of these guys are genuinely dangerous and malicious. Keep that in mind. But I would say that old phrase, don't attribute to malice what can be easily explained by incompetence. So I tend to favor that a lot of these guys are just greedy and stupid as opposed to just malicious. Now, with that being said, there's a few companies that, like FTMO, the reason I don't say I trust them, because trust is a very strong word in this industry these days. But the reason that I would support FTMO, even though I have no relationship with them, they don't pay me for every person that signs up with them, even though I've probably signed up God knows how many people. It could have made millions at this point. The reason I promote them is because I've never had an issue besides the COVID crash, which I spoke about yesterday. And they've always done very, very well at being professional. Their customer service is on point. They are timely. Their automations and the way that they've built their system is so pro, and it's so well run, and it doesn't have many errors. They do scheduled maintenances, and they're very communicative. That's a sign of a very professional company. Okay. So yeah, I support FTMO for now. The RuneScape theme and shit was dope, but like, look, guys, we should have seen this coming. RuneScape. I got caught up in a Ponzi scheme. That's what got me into trading. Best thing that's ever happened to me, oddly. John, was it one of the big ones? Was it like the Trader's Domain? Was it FX Winning? I don't trade prop firms, so can you explain? Guys, please stop asking me if the courses are free. No. These live streams are free, and I do this as a public service. But what you're paying for in a course is not just knowledge. You're paying for all of it in a very structured way, all in one place. You're paying to save you time. I have a really crazy phrase, which is I want to make 100K a month. Not knowing how to make 100K a month is costing me 100K every month. Every month I don't make 100 grand, it's costing me this money. So what I have to do is figure out, how much am I willing to pay to make 100 grand in a month? damn near about 90K or maybe 99. And so these live streams are meant to give you about as much upfront knowledge as I can, but I say a bunch of stuff that you need to go deeper on. And it would take you about a year to understand each one of these concepts, trying to do it by yourself. So the reason that we have paid courses is that you're paying to save time and money by having a very structured approach that takes you from step A to step Z, which is profitability, in as little time as possible with the most beneficial amount of work. Meaning we're not just going to give you stuff just for the sake of memorizing shit, but everything has to have a purpose to get you to that point. And so that's why it's paid, because it took us a lot of time to build a course and a system that actually works. And so, yeah, that's how it is. AMG said early hopping on. What up? What up? It was an investment with a kid in Canada named Aiden, whatever. Huge article on him on Google and News. Aiden Pleterski. Not gonna give him that fame of looking his name up on Google, but that's unfortunate. And guys, look, trust in financial services and financial management is a very big deal. All right. When somebody is promoting an outsized level of returns or they're promoting quick money, chances are that thing is a giant scam. When I managed money at Merrill Lynch, the long-term approach was the most important thing. And I've made my own mistakes, like with prop firms and others, where the pressure of having to perform with someone else's capital makes you do really stupid shit, especially when you're on the clock and they're really trying to force, when the pressure is there to perform in a certain time span. So when someone is promoting these high return strategies and, oh, it's all hands off and it's all hands free, I can definitely see the allure of having someone who's very skilled do the work for you. Trust me, I get it. And at some point, we will launch our own hedge fund and it will make a lot of sense. But there's only one way to do that correctly. And if I launch my hedge fund and I'm telling you guys I'm promoting 10,000 or 50,000% returns and all this other dumb shit, you guys better run the other direction. If I launch a hedge fund and I tell you, look, we're going to beat the market average, but it's going to be single digit or double digit returns, then you guys can trust and believe that this is a real and legitimate operation. So, I mean, obviously, besides the paperwork, the disclosures, and all the official paperwork, really, it's if someone is promoting something that's too good to be true in the Forex space, chances are it is. Even since IML, people had things like copy traders and mirror trading, and everybody lost money. You learn. You give your money to somebody who's an idiot, not even an idiot. You give your money to somebody, something happens. You learn, damn, this money might just be better off in my own hands. What I would encourage everyone to do is to learn as much as you can about trading and to get as skilled as you can, so that when you do give your money to someone, you come at it from a much more informed perspective. All right. Give me 1 sec. I'm getting an important call here. All right. That was indeed not a life, a really important call. That was Paul, in case you guys know who that is. My boy. Okay, dope. All right, everybody. Before you head out on YouTube, because I want to make sure that you guys are actually learning something. The goal here is not for me to just entertain and just to do this thing where I babble on. I want to make sure you guys at least took away something. And depending on where you are in your journey, something is going to resonate with you. So let's see the diversity here. Give me one takeaway that you guys got from this call. Right? There's no one answer to this, because everybody's going to have resonated with something different. But give me one takeaway that you guys have had from this stream, and I will consider this a successful stream. My break even's on the way. A bit DD holding. Are we still good? And if you guys are holding this without without break even, you want to hold it open, I would just move my stops well above the 220 range. Just put it at 220. And obviously this is the Oanda quote. So depending on what your broker's quote is, adjust it accordingly based on those dimensions. But that's the area. Please, guys, give me something. And if you're going to head off, please make sure to drop a like. And then just give me a full sentence. Give me a full sentence. Thoughts on you? Okay, risk management. Okay, aim straight. Love to see it. Lesman says following the trading plan. Lesman, awesome stuff. I believe I'll see you on tonight's call. And not blaming others, obviously a big one. You guys saw me kind of go on that small tirade. Patience is everything. Yes, Biggie Smalls. Rafai says number one takeaway equals hedging. Yeah, hedging is awesome. But it's a more of an advanced strategy. So don't go into trying to hedge if you guys are a little bit more new. Definitely work your way into it. Split your orders. Just do 2 positions. Try that. When price gets to your entry zone, put a small tester. And then when you're in drawdown, inevitably, which we all go into that sort of, everybody goes into drawdown. That's when you can layer in one other trade. So start by splitting it in half. Not in half. You would do 30% of your total position size on the first entry and then 70% on the second one. That's a good place to start this hedging journey. But obviously backtest hedging first before you go in there blind. My takeaway is you don't like your LGBT boyfriend being mentioned. Oh, what is y'all's problem? I'm straight as fuck, and I'm single. There's attractive women on here. Just letting that. I'm just going to say this explicitly. I am young, successful, handsome, and single. So this whole, and I have nothing against the LGBT community, right? This is not that. I'm just saying, bro. Why is that? Like, we had 2 streams ago. Everyone was calling me Omar. It was just weird and just random. And then now everyone's calling me gay. What the fuck is happening, guys? Yo. Wake up. So I just entered right at 8. No. Stay alert if a trade doesn't go on your way. There's always another opportunity available if you're done. After you're done whining and bitching about missing the first opportunity. Well, Quran, it's like playing, you remember football. It's like, dude, you don't have time to complain when you get hit. Right? I remember this one time, bro, you cracked me in open field. I didn't have time to sit here and like complain. Because the whistle blew, you already got to get back up and get to the next fucking run. So if you're sitting there like, man, why am I doing this? Or like, bruh, this is not good. Bruh, I could break my collarbone. Fucking Hashim tackled me so hard, I ended up on the sideline. I'm sitting there on the sideline like, bro, why the fuck did I sign up for this sport? This is the stupidest sport ever invented, right? But you don't have time for that. And so it's the same. It's like, if you do lose a trade, that's why risk management is crucial, because when you're just firing off and you're just taking random entries, yeah, you're going to do a lot of damage. But when you're focused and you have proper risk management on your side and you know how to hedge and get in and out in an appropriate way, then, yeah, you can just reset the play, get a touchdown. Everybody forgets about the interceptions and the missed passes after one touchdown. One touchdown will cure everything, right? Yeah, shit, 4 quarters, you suck, everybody hates you. One touchdown, one great trade puts you right back in the game. Autobahn says the concept of hedging and the time frame you trade. I never tried hedging before, but learning the process from you doing it taught me a bit. Yeah, okay, look, everybody wants to play God, right? The smart money concepts traders, everybody, 2 pip stop losses, all this dumb shit. Bro, you don't run the markets. So if you have a range, like this is a daily area at the 88.6. Okay, so if I delete the other stuff, we have this daily area. Now, because it's a daily trade, this thing is going to mess around. There's going to be this 30, 50-point range here where the market consolidates before it drops. This is natural. So number one, you really got to understand your system. That's a big component of this game. And the traders that try to play God are going to enter at one price and then expect their willpower to do the rest, which is I entered here and now I'm in drawdown and I have to just be like, should I close? Should I hold? And you're fighting this battle every day. Like, that's not my personality. I don't want to sit here and have to, wrestle with the demons every time I want to take a trade, choose between holding and closing. So what hedging allows me to do is, and I've hedged incorrectly, by the way, I'll show the Masterclass folks. If you guys are registered for the Masterclass, you have your seat. I'll show you what improper hedging looks like and how to blow your account hedging. But then I'll also show you how to avoid ever blowing your account again. And so once you have those two, it's a choice now. The lack of knowledge is what leads to a lot of the trading mistakes that I'm seeing today. So hopefully if we can get everybody exposed to, okay, here's the right thing, here's the wrong thing, and we make it a choice, now it's your choice to be a dickhead. If you want to blow your account, at least it's a conscious choice and not something where you're like, I don't know how this happened. Man, if anyone is holding the shorts or being greedy, to be honest, y'all should have cut the losses early when Roy said to hedge into the cover to lower your positions. For sure. I mean, at that point, it is what it is. Like I told you, first off, first things first, never enter a trade unless you're prepared to accept the loss. Every trade starts first with, am I okay with this thing not going my way? And if the answer is no, don't even think about taking the trade because you're going to panic out of the trade. So I'm already okay with accepting the loss before I even entered. So when I'm hedging and doing all this stuff, it's like, yes, I have a strategy to not lose money because that's my goal. But it's not like I care about losing or winning in this context. Oh, I did hit my break even. That's so disrespectful. It's not I care about winning or losing in this context. I'm just more so because I've already accepted that risk on the trade. Guys, I'm going to enter one more position. They took me out of my first trade. It hit the break-even point like right on the money. I don't like that one bit. Okay, cool. I'm supposed to be off the charts, but I figured I'd stick around just long enough, let this trade actually play out, see where it goes. He said they have a crush on you, bro. But shit is weird. Man, leave me the fuck alone. Right? Well, not really. Like I fuck with you guys, the serious traders and whatnot, but bro, leave the weird shit for like the gamer streams. There's gamer streams where you can get on and literally say anything, bro. They love that shit. Send a super chat, whatever. This is buffoonery. Man, if anyone is holding, honestly, you're just informing us certain things about what's happening in the market. Knowledge is nothing without execution. I love to see it. Honestly, you're just informing us certain things about what's happening in the market. Knowledge is nothing without execution. Yeah, I mean, I agree. That's a true statement. $5-minute above the top. I'm moving my stops above the top wick. I don't know why I have them. It's always above the highest wick. All right, total risk on this is about 30 points. 30 points easy. All right, if this thing breaks up, you guys get the drill, 15,200. We'll see this thing. It's about 11:15. It's almost time for me to hop off the charts. Make sure to drop a like. We got about 125 people watching, but only 99 likes. Something about that seems a little broken. I'm not the best at math, right? I was really good at history and English. But I know that if there's 130 people on the stream, but only 100 likes, that means about 30 of you ain't hit the like button. And we all know who you are. Just drop that little like. It takes 2 seconds. Just one like. Honestly, just what do you use indicators? Not really. I'll look at, I don't have anything against indicators like moving averages. I'm a fan of stochastics and volume indicators if you're looking for divergence and stuff. But just from a, like, do I use it to trade? No. I have one as a cheat code, which is to find my session times, because otherwise I would have to do it manually. And so for me, it's just a lot easier to have to have these already marked up for me. All right. And the NAS Bootcamp, folks, everybody who's registered for the Masterclass, I'll be explaining how these relate to that consolidation strategy. And so we'll be talking about that later tonight. Looking forward to that class. Really looking forward to that class. If you guys missed the registration for this class, we have another one going next month. Make sure you don't miss that one because seats are filling up already. Link is in the description. I'll catch you guys later. Happy and safe trading. Take it easy and peace.